The Indiana Fever believed this controversy had finally faded away, but they were mistaken. One of the most prominent voices in basketball media has reignited the debate by highlighting the very concerns Fever fans have been raising for weeks. At the center of the growing criticism is head coach Stephanie White. What began as a routine injury update regarding Caitlin Clark has now escalated into one of the WNBA's most significant public relations challenges of the season. Questions continue to mount, fans are demanding answers, and after comments made publicly by Chiney Ogwumike, the pressure on White and the Fever organization has intensified dramatically. The controversy stems from how the Fever handled communication surrounding Clark's recent back injury ahead of the game against Portland. To be clear, no one expects a franchise superstar to jeopardize her health simply to satisfy public curiosity. Injuries happen, and back spasms are a legitimate concern. The issue was never Clark missing a game, it was the lack of transparency and consistency from the organization. Rather than providing clear information, the Fever's messaging seemed to shift repeatedly. Instead of easing concerns, each update appeared to create more confusion and speculation. Stephanie White addressed Clark's status on multiple occasions, but the explanations often appeared inconsistent. At one point Clark was listed as probable, only for additional explanations and updates to follow. As more questions emerged, the familiar day-to-day designation entered the conversation, leaving fans, reporters, and analysts struggling to understand the situation. What initially seemed like routine injury management gradually evolved into widespread frustration, and that frustration soon turned into suspicion. That growing uncertainty is precisely why Ogwumike's recent comments have generated such a strong reaction throughout the basketball world.
They said Caitlin Clark is day-to-day. Who remember the Caitlin Clark day-to-day? Everything right now is just day-to-day. When you got a front office that's spoon-feeding the fans information, when you got a front office that then announced she was going to not play until an hour and a half before the game, yeah, I think it's about time to give the fans some transparency with these injuries on this damn injury report. Because guess what? The fans spoke. And you want to know what happened when the fans speak?
The frustration intensified when the Indiana Fever waited until just an hour and a half before tip-off to announce that Caitlin Clark would not be playing. For many fans, that timing felt like a major disappointment. Supporters often spend significant amounts of money on tickets, travel, flights, and hotel accommodations specifically for the opportunity to watch Clark play in person. As one of the league's biggest attractions and a major driver of fan interest, her availability carries enormous significance. Critics argued that by delaying the announcement until shortly before the game, the organization left many fans feeling blindsided after they had already committed their time and money. The reaction was swift and widespread, with frustration across social media quickly growing into a larger controversy. The backlash became so significant that major sports publications and national media outlets began covering the story, further intensifying scrutiny of the Fever's handling of the situation.
This morning. Now, there was a clip to go with this, but it's being reported that too much side explanation. Two-time WNBA All-Star responds to Fever handling of Caitlin Clark injury. Now, only a few could have predicted that Caitlin Clark will be sitting out a single game, which snowballed into one of the league's messiest off-court stories this season. It all traces.
The controversy continued to gain momentum as national media outlets began weighing in on the situation. One widely discussed article highlighted growing concerns about the Indiana Fever's handling of Caitlin Clark's injury report, reflecting the frustration that had been building among fans and analysts alike. What started as a single-game absence had now snowballed into one of the WNBA's most talked-about off-court stories of the season. The situation reached another critical point when former WNBA All-Star and respected basketball analyst Chiney Ogwumike addressed the issue during an appearance on Sue Bird's podcast. Her comments brought even more attention to the controversy, focusing on what many viewed as the organization's inability to maintain a clear and consistent message regarding Clark's status. As scrutiny intensified, the discussion shifted beyond the injury itself and toward broader questions about communication, transparency, and leadership within the Fever organization.
The ability to buy time and also withstand like the narratives on the outside. Dallas is real, and they're going to be better than what even I expected. Thinking, oh, they're going to win some games. They're going to be a team that is going to be hard to knock out.
Yeah, I agree. And then, I mean, since we're talking about Paige, we're talking about AZ.
As debates surrounding the Indiana Fever continue to dominate basketball discussions, some observers felt that much of the media attention was shifting toward other storylines, including the excitement surrounding Paige Bueckers and the Dallas Wings. However, Chiney Ogwumike chose to address the controversy head-on rather than move past it. During a media appearance, she was asked directly about the handling of Caitlin Clark's injury report, and her response immediately captured attention. Instead of avoiding the topic, Ogwumike focused on the larger issues at the center of the controversy, offering pointed remarks that cut through the surrounding noise and reignited the conversation. Her comments quickly became one of the most discussed moments in basketball media, adding even more scrutiny to the Fever's communication strategy and further amplifying questions about how the organization managed the situation.
Caitlin Clark, injury report thing, I thought it was kind of blown. I was like, this is a lot for no reason. I'm like, the injury reports? What?
I think sometimes when too much side explanations going on, people are like, what's really going on here? You know what I'm saying? That we're reading into the injury reports, now we're reading into the words of the coach, and then the coach is not standing 10 toes down on it. It just gets to confusion. I moved on. I don't even.
Ogwumike's central point was that when an organization offers too many explanations and constantly adds new details, people naturally begin to wonder what is really happening behind the scenes. In her view, the confusion surrounding Caitlin Clark's injury status was fueled not by the injury itself, but by the inconsistent messaging that followed. When injury reports become difficult to interpret and public statements appear to shift over time, uncertainty quickly takes over. Critics argued that Stephanie White's responses often seemed reactive rather than definitive, creating the perception that the organization was struggling to maintain a clear and consistent narrative. As a result, what could have remained a routine injury update evolved into a larger public relations issue. The fact that a highly respected national television analyst publicly questioned the communication strategy of an active WNBA head coach made the situation even more significant, drawing greater attention to the controversy and intensifying the scrutiny surrounding the Fever's handling of the matter.